Well, we're here at Be Inside in Mexico 2018 in Cologne. I have a great pleasure to interview a special guest from the Netherlands. And I'm gonna first of all let you know that we are in a car, but we will not be driving, so no seatbelts, and we are allowed to have a beer. It's already quite late here, so cheers, cheers to that. And I'm gonna start with the famous question: who are you, and what do you do?
I'm Paul, and I'm living in Amsterdam. I founded a digital agency with my brother in '96, so that's quite a long time ago.
'96? You've been around quite a bit?
I am around quite a bit, you can see it. So, some grey hairs around, but yeah, still in the business, still enjoying the business. And building now a new agency, it's called Debt, and we are also very active in the German market.
Exactly. I think a special story is I had the pleasure of actually coming to your headquarters, and it was a closing dinner for 4 transactions, and you were able to put it all into one closing dinner, which was quite impressive. Even though I have quite a bit of M&A experience, never had 4 deals closed at the same time. So when you say you're building an agency, a digital agency, it's through a buy and build strategy. Am I seeing that correctly?
You're absolutely right. It's buy and build is an important way to grow, especially abroad. But also the way we do it, we acquire very healthy agencies. So there's also a lot of normal growth within the agencies as well.
Is that something you look for in an acquisition target already, or is it something you enable once you take over an agency? So what's kind of the magic? Is it already healthy companies that you enable to grow further, or is it companies that have a good base but where you install the growth?
Well, hopefully we help with the growth, but I think for us that the growth, the ability to grow should be in the company itself. So the entrepreneurs who run the company has to be on the right quality, the right sort of people, and so it's nice when they join because I think we can accelerate it. But I think the quality of the companies has to be so good that if they don't join Debt, they will also work great companies.
And for the buy and build strategy, you always need a strong financial backing, and you're supported by a private equities fund.
Yeah.
For you, as an experienced entrepreneur, I think especially in Germany, we have some examples like UDG, DVI, and so on, where entrepreneurs decided to go with a private equity fund. It didn't work out so well in the end. Can you describe your rationale for you as an entrepreneur to go and on a, I think, very interesting but also very risky journey?
Yeah, let's start. For me, it does not feel risky, and the way we are cooperating with Waterland is the name of the private equity, is just for till now very friendly and very positive and very future oriented, and focusing on growth and not so much on the minor details in the company. So I'm very happy.
Is that a polite way of saying that they leave you alone and you can go your business, or is it really a eye-to-eye relationship?
It's definitely an eye-to-eye relationship. I think that like 3 times a week, I'm just. If I call Wouter now, he will pick up the phone.
Okay, so there's a lot of interaction.
There's a lot of interaction,
but it's on a pleasant level.
It is. It is.
Okay, and what was your rationale to say, okay, because I'm assuming your company was already successful, you were in the market for quite a long time, and why did you see the opportunity now to say, okay, we're gonna, and I think at the time when we first talked in Amsterdam, you said we're about 1,000 people now, so you have not grown a small company, but you've built a very sizable agency. What was your motivation to do that?
Well, what we have learned is that when you run an agency, growth is a very important way to make people happy, because if there's growth, there's change, and when there's change, people get better. So I think that's a very basic instinct, I think, of our agency. Within TomTom, we said in 2007, let's build the best agency in the Dutch market. We did, we succeed in 2013, and then we said, we sit around the table with some guys and girls from our company, and we set the next target. The next target was, at that time, let's build an international agency. And we started the journey in 2013, 14, small steps. Then we said this is not going fast enough. And then we are sort of lucky that Waterland private equity company was looking into our market. They want to step in, and we were able to close the deal. And we were able to close the deal because we were ready for that deal, because we already set our own goal to build an international company.
And I think Waterland is also a quite sizable private equity fund. I think they're about 7 billion under management, so quite a large company as well. So you have definitely sufficient backing to continue your acquisition journey. But I feel as an entrepreneur and having myself built quite a few of agencies, I think everything you do in the end needs to make sense for your clients, because without your clients there's no agency, and if you have to go acquire every client new, if there are no lasting relationships, it's a disaster. So what's the benefit for your clients, especially if you look back at your TomTom days and your clients in the Dutch market, where you had that trusted you early on? Is there a benefit for them from the debt approach to things?
Totally. I'm completely convinced about it, because what's happening, I'll give you a simple example. The first acquire in debt was, we had TomTom, full service agency, and we acquired an online marketing agency. So working together as building platforms and online marketing, and to understand each other, make both our product so much better, and that's where our clients will benefit from. And this is a small example, but it's also, it's about your brand, it's about your platform, it's about your online marketing, it's about your analytics, it's about your customer data. It's all interconnected, and to do it right, it should work together, and it's quite hard to organize it. And because we are one company, we are able to organize it. So I think it's a big benefit of our clients, and we see it definitely working in the market.
Are you confident to say that as your services grow for your clients, you're making your clients grow? Is that kind of the fundamental things you promise your clients, saying, okay, I can now go with you into international markets, into other service areas? Does that actually work? Can you kind of, because the point is you did a very good job for your clients. Now you need to inherit that trust to companies you recently bought. Is that something your clients follow you with? Do they go with a mental journey that say, okay, I have the trust here with online marketing, so I'm definitely going to do my Amazon services with you as well?
Well, I'm not saying it's like instantly, because you need time, you need trust, you have to tell the stories, you have to build the pilots, you have to give the examples that it's working. So it's not an instant success, but what we have seen, especially now, because we rebrand all the different agencies in Holland to Debt in one agency. We did it in April, and the trust from our clients is so much bigger than before, and the work we can do for our clients is just it's going through the roof. So the trust is quite big, but it takes some time to build the trust.
Okay, so if I kind of summarize our discussion, you were a successful entrepreneur with an agency, you found a financial backer, you structured a company that makes sense for your clients, so it makes sense to continue it. So my question now would be, you're kind of in the, I mean, everybody loves courting, maybe if I take an example, sleeping with each other, lots of fun, marriage, hard work. So my next question goes directly towards that direction. You're in the acquisition mode right now. You have collected quite a few very successful agencies. But now you need to make the marriage work, and that's work.
Definitely.
Did you kind of sit down and say, okay, before I'm going to go on my acquisitions, I have a master plan how I'm going to integrate these companies back into our network, and how far along are you in the journey, and what would you say are your biggest learnings? So in summary, how does your marriage work, and what do you know now that you didn't know at the beginning of the journey?
as you know, a marriage is fun, but not always fun.
Well,
it's a bit of work sometimes.
I just had my 10-year wedding anniversary, and I think it's very very much fun, but both sides need to work on it. So it's difficult but fun. So I'm not saying it's not fun, but how's your experience so far?
Okay, I'm with the same wife for 30 years.
Okay, good. We share by a factor of 3. We share the same sentiment there.
So I know it's fun and it's work. Well, I think to make it work, be a little bit patient. Don't over rush it, because what we do, we integrate quite strongly on finance. So and to get the household has to be in place. So that's your roof, no leakage, has to be great. Mm-hmm. But then again, working together, sharing clients, that's more of an emotion. And that takes a little bit of time and luck to find the right client. So we are not pushing it, but we are facilitating it. So we have one system, Salesforce, and all the leads are in. There are calls, so we share all the opportunities, so people can just click in there. And the way we are organized and structured is that we all work in the same direction. So if possible, no earn-outs, make it simple. Everybody is shareholder in the same company, and so work in the same direction. I think that's very helpful.
So you have kind of a common intrinsic motivation, and you have a technology-supported sales process where you kind of equalize sales. Are you trying to get more synergies out of more centralized services? So would you do accounting in a central function or HR in a central function? Yep. Is that something where you say, okay, some of these functions can be centralized versus others will leave alone? What's your opinion on that?
That's definitely the case. When we can centralize it, because it adds value, it's not so much about saving money, but add value to the other agencies. Then we centralize it, or make a combination. Let's say marketing. We have a very strong centralized marketing team, and we have marketing, of course, within the different agencies in the German market, for example.
So there's kind of a technical side to it, the technology, the growth with the centralized services and so on. But you already mentioned common incentivization, which to me is more a way to describe culture. And I think you just put on the Dead Festival, and I heard great things about it. Is that something where you're really trying to put something very special together, where everybody's invited, clients for part of the way, but not the whole way? So you allow people to join. Was that something you said right from the beginning, we're going to do that? Or is that something that kind of developed as you went along? Or?
Well, it was not my idea, to be honest, but we had a small version of it in our former company, and we expand the idea, and it was Marianne Straathoff, the marketing director. She was very engaged with this idea, and she made it big, because there were around over 2,000 people last Friday in Amsterdam, and like 750 of our employees were there as well. So that was
so out of 1,000, that's quite a fair amount of people actually went and attended from all the locations. Okay, and from that I would take that some of the things you planned ahead of time, other things are developing spontaneously, like the idea for the festival to join everybody together. But what if I were acquired by your and would I be acquired by your company or by your network? What terms should I use? What terms do you use?
That's a good question. It started more like a network, because it was TomTom part of that, it's Superreal part of that, Trust part of that. But now we're changing it more from a network more to a company. So I think we are a little bit in a transition phase. So I would say it's more a company now than a network. Although it's not so that the way networks work, we still adopt that, of course.
Okay, so it's an ongoing process. But if I'm acquired by your company, but let's say company, is there can I expect a 100-day plan of integration, or certain steps I can follow, or is it more kind of a touch and feel and see how we progress?
You have a 100-day plan, and it's all worked out, and it's a sort of machine. So that's very strict, and it's very planned, and everything is in there, and we don't mess up. So that's you know how it starts, and you know how it ends. So that's like a machine. But then again, the human way of doing business is very big in our values. So if something goes wrong in your company, there's a conversation and no shouting.
Yeah. Okay. So it's mutual respect, because what I think is quite interesting is, especially with Super Real, also from Hamburg, and we knew Volker Will and the other guys through mutual contacts quite a long time. Factor A, also we know very well. And these entrepreneurs actually were kind of fascinated by your way of doing things, and they're very experienced entrepreneurs. And I thought it was interesting how even in the M&A process you were able to transfer a little bit of magic to them, that they said, okay, I really want to be part of this, and go with it. So
that's a nice compliment, by the way.
Actually, well, I know these guys for quite a long time, and with Factor A, I think we had, which is even funnier, we had from a financial perspective maybe a more interesting offers, but the management team was like, no, this is like, we're going to go with these guys, and there's no other way around it. So
I'm very, very proud of that went that way.
And is that, would you tie that back to a certain strategy setup? Does it have to do with you and your leadership team? Because you're generally an entrepreneur and have gone through the same journey, but why are these entrepreneurs who have, let's say, many options?
Yeah,
why did they go with you?
Of course, you have to ask themselves, but what I think is, what's happening is that there are big players in the market and acquire a lot of like the consultancy firm, like Accenture, and then you have more from a media background companies buying like Publicis or WPP, etc. And there's the smaller, nimble, more agile option. Like companies like Dept, which are rooted in a digital world. So our behavior is more aligned with their behavior.
So you're not playing digital, you have kind of in your DNA and set up.
We don't have to change our company to become digital. It's by nature. Okay. I think it's a huge advantage for us, and I think that's also an important reason why people, the directors of Factor A or Super Real Trust, feel at home at that.
Okay. No, I think that from again the other kind of private equity-backed network deals I'm aware of, they all had a very technical feeling to them, and I think that's why they mostly failed. And I think it needs a more organic approach, even though you have the financial backing, to make people stay. So I think a very interesting structure. But again, going back to the private equity angle, they're certainly not in it just for the culture and all the fun. And from the deal structure, I know you have a certain amount of time and financial matters where you can build. Then you have the growth stage, and then you're going to go towards an exit phase. Where is that in your opinion right now? Are we going to see the next 10 closing dinners, or are we going to see concentrated organic growth? Where are you located?
It's organic growth was important and is still important, so we don't want to leave that path, and we will continue with the buy and build. So we won't stop it. We think it's an important asset for us to add value for our clients, but also for the shareholders. So it's an important part of our business. And where we are in business, we said, okay, in 2015, when Waterland came aboard, we said, okay, let's build a company. It was a sort of easy goal, but it works. We said, okay, let's build a company in 10 countries with 100 million revenue and 1,000 people. And we did it. We said that was our 5-year goals, we did it. We are already there. So last Saturday we talked with all our people, and we set our next goal, and we said, okay, let's build a worldwide digital agency. So we are on the road to become that.
I really like the way you quantified your first goal. Again, KPI is very important to me. Did you quantify worldwide exactly?
Yeah, we quantified it quite exactly.
Can you share it?
Yeah, I can share it. It's super easy. Gartner, they have nice reports, and you have
magic one.
You have the magic quadrant, and you know where to put your agency.
Oh, I saw Spryker up in the right-hand corner, but okay.
So I kind of learn a little bit of your. So you know the magic. You know the magic of the quadrant. Yeah. So that's where we are heading for.
Okay, and what other quantifiable measures then? Do you have to be in 50 countries and 10,000 people, or?
Well, it's kind of easy. You just read the report,
okay,
and a lot of hints. Where you have
so
head in
I'm going to go back and study the report to see it.
We are a European-based company, and we definitely have to grow in the Americas and in Asia.
Okay.
That should be important steps, and I don't think for this year, but definitely for 2019.
Okay, so instead of, I think, internationalization, you're quite there, but you're talking more about globalization, so getting a footprint in other markets.
Yeah.
For you personally, going back to the point of you as an entrepreneur, America, again, I think very competitive, but not scary. Asia, just because of the speed of development, the digital aheadness compared to Europe, your kind of core market. Yeah. Is that something you treat with a lot of respect, or a lot of excitement for you to learn new things, or what's your take on it?
It's excitement and a lot of respect. We are not going to rush in. We start building our network with trusted relations. We are going to have a look there to see if we can get a little bit better understanding about the market. So we are not in a rush in that sense, and I know it's difficult. But then again, that was the same when we had to start the buy and build. I never had anybody in our team. There was no buy and build experience at all when we started. So that was also a new journey.
So you're saying you're fast learners.
Not sure,
evidently.
It works.
Okay, great. So I think these markets 2019 quite a strong goal for you to set up. Again, from a, I have to ask, from a private equity perspective, is there a risk of, let's say you want to do a successful exit, and then you're thinking about the usual suspects, WPP, Omnicom, the large networks, and so on. Yeah. Is there a danger of outgrowing attractiveness? So let's say you're all of a sudden 100,000 people.
I don't think it will happen.
10,000. Factor 10, who knows? Quite sizable. Is that something where your considerations, or you're just saying, okay, I want to grow, not for the sake of growing, but for the sake of building a stronger company? And if I outgrow my exit options, well, whatever, I'm just going to build this. Like what?
I don't think we will outgrow our exit options. I don't believe that will happen. And well, we are 1,000 people, but if you compare to the big networks,
of course,
we are dwarf.
Exactly.
So there's still some room of improvement.
But if you look at your organic growth rate, I'm sure you're outperforming them by a lot. So
yes, you're right.
it always is a base you apply your growth to. Okay, so you're going to build that. You have new challenges for you as an entrepreneur to go with the globalization aspect of things. In terms of your clients, I think in an agency you often have the problem that you outgrow your most loyal clients. So when you're a young agency and somebody gives you 1,000 euros, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing, somebody trusts me. And then they give you 10,000 euros, and then the guy who gives you 1,000 euros is kind of off the radar, and then they give you 100,000, then they give you 1 million, then they give you 10 million, and so on. So your client base changes. And going back to the whole aspect that you said, it's beneficial for your clients, what you're doing right now. How you're handling that? Are the individual entities within that still small enough to service these clients, or is all of a sudden only a stock listed company attractive to you?
Definitely not. And I think if you look to the size of our customers and also the size of our clients, we serve, I think, a big amount of small clients, and I think that's rooted back to '96. We always had a strategy. We like to have a lot of clients, and not only depending on big names, because I think that's gives you a bigger risk. And what we have experienced that with more clients, also smaller clients, you are more nimble and more flexible, and your utilization is higher. Although it looks like more work, but in the end it's better. And of course, when the company is growing, sometimes there's not a fit anymore with the client. But be honest and just make it work, or help them out, or just do it the right way.
Okay.
Of course it happens, but not fast and with enough time to make it work.
So reputation maintenance still a very important trait, no matter how fast you grow and how it develops.
Yeah, there's only one person who pays the bills, and that's the client in the end, and not private equity.
That's true. But so you already described for 2019. I was we are already kind of in the fall in September. So I always make people say their predictions. So next year I can either laugh at you or tell you what a visionary you are. So so 2019 for that as a company, you're going to focus on the globalization aspect. Which product areas are exciting you the most for your clients? Like where you're saying in 2019 this is going to be the year where we're going to make our mark in that or that product or client category?
Definitely the German market. Focusing the buy and build will be a little bit shifting to the Asia or Africa, to America, but the business focus and the marketing focus and the client focus is definitely in our strong markets, and I think we have a huge opportunity in the German market because of Superreal, Factor A, Trust, Be Excellent. They are big brands, and if we combine the brands, and we will do that the coming months, I think there's a lot to gain for us and for our clients in the German market.
Okay, great. And product-wise, any predictions?
No.
Okay, so
we will focus in Germany on e-commerce.
Yeah.
Everything about e-commerce, and of course, you don't have to study rocket science, but especially Factor A, you know quite well. They are. That's an amazing company. There's a lot of growth potential still within Germany, but also in the UK, in Spain. UK, in France, but also in the US, in Japan.
Yeah.
So. We definitely want to build on that one.
Great. Very excited to hear. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat with me here in Cologne in a car that isn't driving. I really appreciate that. And again, I want to end off the interview with saying that a lot of entrepreneurs I respect, trust you, and I wish you the very best on the journey. And I hope next year we can have a conversation how successfully you entered the Asian market, and see how it all works out. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Appreciate it.